Hey guys, hope everybody's having a good day out there today. Thanks for tuning back into the channel, much appreciated. And today we're going to have a topic, or we're going to talk about a topic that I think is far too familiar with a lot of us, pros included, everybody out there. And that is to do, what do you do if you just can't figure anything out on the lake? It's like, what if you've had a couple days on the lake and you're just not catching any fish, you're scratching your head, or what if you're practicing for a tournament, you haven't done any good, you don't really know what to do. What's your next move? How can you maintain a positive attitude? How can you turn things around? And how can you get out of the little funk that you're in? And I don't know anybody that doesn't go through this on some type of a regular basis to some extent or another, because some people's highs and lows are relative to their own expectations. So, that depends. I mean, for example, back when Kevin Van Dam was at the top of his game, I mean, a 20th place finish was a bad tournament for him. So it's all relative to your expectations. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about what you can do if you're just frustrated, can't really figure anything out, don't really know what to do. Most of the time, all the time, you have to tell yourself that the fish are always biting, because they are. The fish are biting all the time. They have to eat every single day. There's some fish that are eating every single day. And every tournament that I've ever been to in my life, it's always the same story. You come in the first day of the tournament and you say, I can't believe they caught them so good. As you guys watch this video, I'm fishing the MLF Toady Series tournament up at Lake of the Ozarks. It's been pretty tough up there in practice, but somebody's going to whack them today, and there's going to be guys saying, I can't believe they caught them so good. So first thing you need to do, just know the fish are always biting. It's not that you're having a hard time catching the fish because the fish just aren't biting. They're always biting. So first of all, what you have to do is you have to sort of systematically analyze the situation. If you've been on the lake, say for example, you got a couple day trip and the first day you didn't do any good, or maybe you've been fishing a couple days and haven't done any good, there's two different things that you can change to basically change your fortune on there. The first thing is an area change, and the second thing is a technique change. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then there's also a combination of the two. So the first thing you have to remember is you have to ask yourself, are you in the right part of the lake? And that depends upon the time of the year, because certain parts of the lake are simply better at certain times of the year. I mean, based upon water temperatures, water clarity, and water level. So first of all, determine if you think you're in the optimum part of the lake. That's a big deal. If you, regardless if you are or are not, one of the first things that you can do is make an area change. The next day that you go out there. Say for example, if you've been fishing the lower end of the lake for a couple days, go up to the mid part of the lake. If you've been fishing the mid part of the lake for a couple days, try the upper end. A change of scenery, guys, there's a couple things it does. Not only it opens up some more possibilities, but it gives you a fresh mindset. Anytime that you run into some new water, your mind is sort of open to opportunities a little bit. So first thing you do is just make a change in your areas based upon whatever set of information you have at the time. Second thing you can do is change your technique. Changing your technique is critical a lot of times, because sometimes we try to force feed the fish how we want to catch them. I mean, I've been trying to get them to bite a jerkbait up at Lake of the Ozarks, and they're biting it a little bit, but I haven't been fishing an Alabama rig much, or I haven't been, throwing a football head jig. So we tend to get locked into the things we want to do. So the next thing you can do, if you don't want to make an area change, say for example you think you're in the right part of the lake. Say it's every bit of information you've assimilated tells you you're in the right part of the lake, but you're still not catching them. You have to change up techniques. So the techniques can be a variety of different things. And the way you change techniques is when you get into an area that you think looks pretty good, or you're pretty confident there's some fish in there, or there should be some fish, give a technique about 15 to 25 minutes. Say if you're, pitching a jig down a row of docks, give it 15 or 20 minutes. If you still think those fish are on docks, change up your color, make another pass through there. Then if you don't think they're going to bite a jig, go to a creature bait or a shaky head. If you have predominant cover in a lake, like docks, grass, whatever, rocky banks, that type of stuff, the fish are going to always live on the predominant cover. points, main, secondary points, whatever like that. There's a population of fish always living on the predominant cover. So you have to change your techniques in order to figure out the mood of the fish. Sometimes the fish are in a chasing mood. Sometimes they're a little bit more inactive and you need to fish on the bottom with them. Sometimes it's a matter of changing your retrieve. It's just a retrieve variation can key it. Sometimes it's color. The point is, guys, without getting too intimidated here with all the options you have out there, is you're looking for that first fish. So always keep changing your baits, your retrieves, your colors within those good areas until you hit on that first fish. And once you hit on that first fish, that's a big direction. That's a big element to point you in the right direction to your second fish. So that's the combination of the two. The third aspect of that is not only changing your areas, but changing the technique within a different area. Say, for example, the lake you're fishing is, 5 foot high, and the lower end of the lake, you've been dragging a football head jig, something like that, fishing the old shoreline. You may run up the lake on a little bit flatter bank and start flipping bushes. So a lot of times, a complete 180, not only a 180 in the area, but a 180 in the technique can give you, that momentum you need. But the main thing, guys, is you just have to experiment. Bass don't read books. I mean, one of the things that will help you out in your fishing is if you just realize that bass they live where they're at, and sometimes you can't over intellectualize that. You can't say the fish are going to be here, they're going to bite this or that. Sometimes they just are where they are. And the only way that you can figure that out is just trying different stuff in different areas. So anyway, that's the tip for today, guys. Don't get frustrated. The longer you go without catching one, the closer you are to catching one. Keep a positive attitude, keep switching up, keep moving until you get on a couple fish that point you in that right direction. So anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated, and we'll see y'all later.